Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees, especially those coming from outstation. They've come for what we call a long weekend, 3 days of transcendental chanting, dancing and feasting. Although right now we're doing some transcendental fasting. Who's come from outstation? Quite a few from different places. Lakshman's also from outstation. Where's Lakshman? Left. Okay. All right. I'm going to read one verse with purport from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, translation with commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I'll just read first the Bengali and then I'll read the English translation commentary. I'll give it to you and you translate the whole thing. The blue folder. This is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 8, text 7. Ei shabnamane jeba kare Krishna bhakti, Krishna kripa nahi tar gati. Translation: one who does not accept the glories of the Pancha Tattva but still makes a show of devotional service to Krishna can never achieve the mercy of Krishna or advance to the ultimate goal. Purport: if one is seriously interested in Krishna conscious activities, he must be ready to follow the rules and regulations laid down by the Acharyas, and he must understand their conclusions. The Shastra says, Dharmasya tattvang nihitang guhayang mahajano yena gatah sapantaha. It is very difficult to understand the secret of Krishna consciousness, but one who advances by the instruction of the previous Acharyas and follows in the footsteps of his predecessors in the line of disciplic succession will have success. Others will not. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says in this connection, Charya Vaishnava Shiva Nishta Payeche Kiba. Unless one serves the spiritual master and acharyas, one cannot be liberated. Elsewhere he says, Eichoi Goshai Ja Muitar Dash Ta Shabar Pada Renu Mor Panchagrash. I simply accept a person who follows in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis, and the dust of such a person's lotus feet is my food. Yeah. Okay. All right, before we begin, please turn off your cell phones. Turn off your cell phone, turn off your material life, turn off your material consciousness. Very important instruction here for those who are accepting initiation. The 2 features of a disciple, or actually the first sentence of the purport gives 3 features of a disciple. First of all, they should be seriously interested in Krishna consciousness. Anyone can come and chant and take prasadam, they're welcome. But when one is serious, then one should take initiation. And unless one is serious, there's no meaning to taking initiation. So the meaning of seriousness in Krishna consciousness is summarized in 2 points given here by Srila Prabhupada. That one must be ready to follow the rules and regulations laid down by the Acharyas. In other words, you have to follow the instructions of the Guru as received in Parampara. But there's more to it than that. There's something else which is just as important. So, did you say all of that? There's more to it. There's something which is just as important. One must also understand the conclusions of the Acharyas. So it's we take the vow that you chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. One has to understand what one is doing, especially by hearing. Spiritual life begins by hearing, specifically by hearing from the devotees. And hearing doesn't mean just sitting in a lecture. It means Guru Mokha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Ana Koriya Manayasha. It means that the words from the lotus mouth of the Guru, they should be made one with the heart, and one should not desire anything else. And specifically stated here, one should understand their conclusions. Means the philosophy or the understanding that is given by the acharyas, one should understand. One should understand that. One should attempt to understand it by carefully hearing. Jive Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitadas. The Jiva is the eternal servant of Krishna. What does it mean to be a servant? That we can imbibe from the words and the behavior of the acharyas. In other words, becoming a disciple is a tremendous commitment. It means a commitment to I am no longer Tamil or Telugu or Russian or whatever. Now I am a servant of Krishna. I always was a servant of Krishna, but now by hearing the messages of the acharyas, I'm committed to waking up to that position. To be prepared to follow the instructions, it requires a great deal of trust. To submit to a guru means to accept a life of discomfort. Everyone in this material world is trying to make their life very comfortable. That comfort is that search for comfort and pleasantness is the cause of our misfortune. And we spend all our endeavor trying to be comfortable as we flit from one situation of birth, death, old age and disease to another. So to escape this illusory comfort, we have to accept what may seem to us discomfort. Hare Krishna. We have to undertake such severe austerities as turning our cell phones off. We're so attached to our material life, we can't switch it off for 1 hour. Just see, what a miserable position. So Rishabdev instructs us, don't seek after the comfort that the stool-eating hogs and dogs have. Don't seek after that comfort. But tapo divyam, we should accept divine austerities that will lead us to the actual life of Brahma Sokyam Tvanantam, unlimited, eternal, spiritual bliss. So there are certain austerities to be accepted. It is certainly an austerity for a conditioned soul to accept the position of a disciple. That one may have a very respectable position in human society, but the duty of the guru is to rebuke and instruct that person, that disciple. The standard is perfection. And those who are kind to their disciples, they don't tolerate imperfection in the disciple. Of course they have to tolerate some, otherwise it would become intolerable for the disciple. But they're always pushing, do everything properly, do everything nicely for Krishna. As Prabhupada wrote, our philosophy is everything perfect for Krishna. So, unless one is a perfect disciple or a superficial disciple, the relationship with the Guru can be, it may be uncomfortable. But all the time our ego which we are so much attached to, will be cut. So that's very uncomfortable for the conditioned soul. But unless we're prepared to submit to that, then we don't get free of our false egoism. I was talking about superficial disciples. So that's not really a disciple at all. The kind who, they may say, oh, I love my guru so much, but they never care to listen to him or to follow his instructions. You keep a huge picture and give big garlands, but they never bother to follow his instructions. So Srila Prabhupada he said, don't keep a guru like people keep a pet dog. The function of the pet dog is to give me pleasure. So the function of a disciple is to submit to the guru. So this may sound like very heavy words, and it certainly is. Guru means heavy. And that heaviness is meant for squeezing the imperfections out of the disciple and bringing them to the stage where they can actually serve Krishna. Training to serve Krishna in a perfect manner. Vaikuntha means the world where there's no imperfection. So one cannot bring one's false ego there. That has to be completely discarded, and then one has the not only completely discarded, but the real the ego of wanting to serve Krishna has to be fully accepted. Then one can go to the spiritual world. So maybe some of you don't know, but it seems that within our ISKCON movement, I have a reputation for being somewhat strict.
சில பேருக்கு தெரியாது நம்ம இஸ்கான் இயக்கத்துல என்ன சொல்லிக்கிறாங்க அப்படின்னா என்ன அபிப்பிராயம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா நான் ரொம்ப கடினமா இருக்கக்கூடியவன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நினைக்கிறாங்க.
That was edited, someone turned it. So I guess those of you who are local, you don't get much choice who you're going to approach for initiation, because you don't see others coming. Of course, you are welcome to, everyone's welcome to, there are many gurus in ISKCON. So you're welcome to approach any of them for initiation if you actually come to that standard. In general, less people, it seems, approach me. I see my godbrothers, some of them initiate in one day more than I've initiated in all my life. Do it regularly also. I'm one of them. All our initiating gurus in ISKCON, they have different personalities, they have different styles of performing their service. I suppose I could be described as an idealist. I can say, and I guess you'd say Adarshavadi. How would you say idealist, Savyasachi? Adarshvadi, yeah. Does that help? No. Means someone who's always trying to make everything perfect. I remember that it was the day after Tamal Krishna Maharaj passed away, and Ravindra Swarup Prabhu said about him that he was a perfectionist. And he said, as a typical perfectionist, he drove everyone else crazy and himself crazy also. I don't know if you can translate drive them crazy. It doesn't actually literally mean insane. It's an English saying. I don't know how you... It means it's like agitating to others. But anyway, those who come to me, they're liable to get pushed. Of course, I have to deal with everyone differently according to their level of surrender and qualification. But in general, we expect those who are going to be disciples, they're going to be serious. And although I haven't initiated as many disciples, as have many of my god brothers. In general, I'm quite happy with my disciples, because just like by regularly polishing the silver can shine. So by rubbing and pushing, then the quality of if it's done in the proper way, then the quality of the disciple can come out. If we don't push devotees, then they're less likely to be committed. If we simply smile at them and tolerate that they're not very much committed, they're not coming regularly, they're not doing much service, then they'll think, well, that's okay, it's all right. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his standard for Grihastha disciples was very high. You couldn't imagine it nowadays. Actually, it's nothing that special. They're just supposed to come to the mud every day after work and spend the whole evening there. But that would be considered in the modern age like to be amazingly committed. But that should be the standard, that those who are disciples, their commitment is to Krishna. As householders, they also have commitments to family, home, and all these. And usually they balance. The balance is like 95% to the family and maximum 5% to Krishna. At least in terms of time, the amount of time they give to Krishna consciousness compared to the amount of time they're working for or caring for their family, it's usually the balance tips over towards the family side. And even that they may find difficult because the family demands 100% and more. Even if you give 100%, they're never satisfied. They want more and more and more. But our first responsibility is to Krishna, Guru and Krishna. That doesn't mean that we stop our responsibility to our family or become rough in our behavior to our family members. But our commitment has to be to Krishna. Of course, most of the devotees getting initiated today are couples, husband and wife. So you can together make your home life Vaikuntha life by cooperating to serve Guru and Krishna together. Please, of course, many of you may live some distance away, but in your home there has to be daily sadhana. That the principle should be that we only accept Krishna prasad. Nowadays there's many convenience foods. It's very convenient to buy bread and biscuits in the shop and all kinds of other items. But the devotee only takes food which is offered to Krishna. You may think, well, I can buy the bread and offer it to Krishna. It's vegetarian, I think. Probably. But Krishna doesn't accept something cooked by non-devotees. So, again, it requires commitment to live a life which is considered unusual by most people. And many people may blame you for taking up such a way of life. Why are you it's all right to be a little religious, but why so much? It's too much. They may criticize like this. Of course, if a child or a youth studies like all day and night because they want to pass their exam, they don't blame that that's too much. They say, oh, that's very good. In fact, they may push the child to do that. Or they cheer the athlete who's going to... But the athlete, to be an Olympic athlete, they have to practice day and night and no alcohol and they have to follow so many rules and they have to be completely dedicated, no parties. But they're considered national heroes if they happen to win the race. Athletes don't lead normal lives. People will say to you, why don't you lead a normal life? Well, athletes don't. They don't lead a normal life. but the athlete is cheered and considered a very good person by so-called normal people. But if one has the same commitment to Krishna consciousness, people say, well, what's wrong with you? So it's not that they're against being committed or not being normal, because that is considered praiseworthy in other persons, but they're actually against Krishna consciousness, and they're demons, that's why. So understand these points, because definitely various relations of yours and various neighbors, and in general everyone likes to gossip and say bad things about others, so definitely people are going to say bad things about you. You're probably already experiencing that. But petty-minded people, they just criticize others for no reason. We find among petty-minded people, which means most people, that they're always criticizing others, with or without reason. So don't be disturbed if others criticize you. And don't adjust your commitment to Krishna because others don't like it. Just tell people that, look, I've decided to dedicate my life to Krishna, and you do whatever you like, but I'm going to surrender to Krishna. This commitment is required. Disciple means, as Prabhupada states here, you must understand the conclusions of the acharyas. You will get that from regularly studying Srila Prabhupada's books. Every disciple should read all of Srila Prabhupada's books. So what's the first thing you have to do if you're going to read all of Prabhupada's books? Well, you have to have them. So you all have to have a full set of Srila Prabhupada's books in your home. And it is your sacred duty to gradually read through all those books. Bhagavad Gita as it is, Bhagavad Gita Unmai Uravil, something like that.
Bhagavad Gita Unmai Uravil.
And Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion. These Srila Prabhupada has said are the most important books for Krishna conscious understanding. Of course, Srimad Bhagavatam is in 18 big volumes, so it may take some time to read through it, but you can read through it. Don't be lazy. If you read a little every day, you'll gradually go through it all, and you'll find yourself so much enriched with spiritual knowledge. And when you've finished reading them all, read them again, and you'll find yourself more enriched with spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, you see, all day we're listening to things said by materialistic people, and we hear the news and so many things, and news of the material world. Unless we regularly hear the Vaikuntha messages, then we're going to think in terms of this material world. Just like we might hear that, we may hear from so many people, well, Sonia Gandhi is very good or very bad or whatever. And then we base our opinion on what we hear from other people who have no spiritual knowledge. So we should understand rather through the message of Shastra. And what would we understand in this particular case? Well, Sonia Gandhi is just another bewildered spirit soul, that's all. We should give her Prabhupada's books. So try to see everything transcendentally. That is possible by taking this spiritual knowledge which is given in Srila Prabhupada's books and which is spoken by devotees. So I would like my disciples to read Srila Prabhupada's books and hear from me also. You can hear from many devotees, but you should listen to your guru, otherwise there's no meaning to having a guru. Hearing from me, that should be the same effect as hearing from Srila Prabhupada, otherwise there's no meaning to my being a guru or a disciple. And if by hearing from me you find that the message that you've received from Srila Prabhupada is confirmed, then you know you're on the right track. If you hear from a devotee and by hearing from them you have to adjust what you have received in Srila Prabhupada's books, you know you're on the wrong track. The duty of a disciple is to present what the truth as received in Parampara. Alright, so now we'll give the names and take the vows. But for that, the deity should be open. Why is the deity curtain closed? That should have been done earlier, isn't it? On festival, you're a pujari. On festival days, if they don't get the decoration finished, then they start immediately after the Shringar Arati. It shouldn't be going on at this, almost 12 o'clock. You better tell them. They've got their decoration shouldn't be at this time of day. It's too late for decoration. So, what's going on? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So, those who are going to accept initiation, when your name is called, first please go and offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. That you should do by, for men, fully stretching the body, with the arms stretched out fully. And you should say the pranam mantra you should pronounce the pranam mantra to Srila Prabhupada. Then you go and offer obeisance to the deities. Hare Krishna. And then come before your initiating guru. Jai Shri Shri. And then you'll have to come and how are we going to do this? Yeah, this can be. I guess you can go on recording this. Yeah, you'll have to come here, and we'll need a mat here. So the first is Gopinath. Yeah, leave those beads. What's that? A bead bag? Can leave that. Yeah, please say the Prabhupada Pranam mantra out loud. Tell him. You have to pronounce it. And then you have to What's that? Yeah, but if they do that, then they're not saying. He's not saying the mantra. Does he know it? Hope he knows it. But he has to offer full obeisance. And I have to hear what he's saying also. I didn't hear anything. All right, okay. Then, please sit here. And then Gopinath's wife. Yeah. Please just sit facing me. All right. Okay. Now, many people in India, the names given by their parents are very good names. Names like Gopinath are very good names. So, I usually don't, if they have good names like this, I usually don't change them much. Maybe I just change them a little. And one important change is to add the word das afterwards. So, please tell me the 4 regulated principles and how many rounds to be chanted. Getting by with a little help from the wife. Okay. So, everything okay? How many rounds said okay? Alright, so I'm going to slightly change your name. And your name will be Sri Gopinath Das. May the gopis and Gopinath bless your service to them. Next will be Kumar, who's also known as Ardhanarisha. I never knew he was called that, but that's his official name. Please come. Yeah, please sit like this, very nicely. Yeah, so please, you can tell everything okay? So, I'm giving you the name Kanchanavali Devidasi. So, Kanchana means golden, and Vali means a creeper. Lata. So, this Kanchanavali is a name for Radharani, and she's like a creeper who wraps around Krishna. Hare Krishna. Then Kumar's wife, she's going here. Okay. Then.
No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication.
Okay. How many?
16 rounds and chanting.
Minimum 16 rounds daily. Okay. I'm giving you the name of one of the 4 famous Kumaras. Sanaka Kumar Das. Sanat, Sanatan, Sanandana and Sanaka. These are the 4 Kumaras. So, Sanaka Kumar Das. Hare Krishna. So, next Sundaram, please. And wife. Yeah. So, please tell me.
16 rounds and no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex.
Okay, very good. So your name is Bhuvaneshwari. That's usually considered a name of Durga, isn't it? But actually, originally it's the name of Radha. It's one of the names in the Radha Sahasranama. We've all heard of Vishnu Sahasranama, so there's also Radha Sahasranama. So I'm giving you a name from Radha Sahasranama. Your name is Bhuvaneshwari Devidasi. Okay. And very good. Yeah, so. Okay, everything okay? So, your name is Govinda Sundara Das. Yeah, please come. And next will be Govindaraj and wife. Yeah, so please tell.
16 rounds Maharaj.
Sit comfortably, sit nicely. Sit on the mat. You can sit back a bit. So don't let's come close. Yeah. Yeah.
No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex.
Okay. So your name is Vijaya, which is generally considered a name of Durga also. But this name originally is the name of Radha, and Lakshmi appears in Radha Sahasranama and in Lakshmi Sahasranama. So Yeah, it's originally the name of Radha and Lakshmi.
இதோட மூலத்துல பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த பேர் வந்து ராதாராணி மற்றும் லக்ஷ்மியை குறிக்கிறது.
So your name is Vijaya Devidasi. If anyone asks you, you can tell it's the name of Radha. Yeah, please come. So Govindaraj and wife. And then after that is Mohan Raj and wife. आपको हिंदी आते हैं? नहीं आते, तो हम हिंदी में सब कुछ करेंगे. तो बोलिए चार नियम क्या क्या है?
शराब पीना, rejects, gambling,
क्या नहीं खाना था? क्या चीज नहीं खाना? मामेशम. Good Hindi. It's a mixture of Tamil and English. Okay, all right. It doesn't matter whether you say in Tamil, but you have to chant Hare Krishna. That's the main thing. So your name is Sri Govindaraj Das. Yeah. Then, yeah. Yeah, so. What's that? Everything okay? All right, so your name is Janaki Rani Devidasi. Yeah, Mohan Raj, please come. And next, Neelambo. Yeah.
No meat eating, no illegal sex, no intoxication, no gambling.
How many rounds?
16.
Okay. So your name is Mohana Rajadasa. Not the king, but servant of the king.
ராஜா கிடையாது, ஆனா ராஜாவுடைய சேவகன்.
Greatest king, Krishna. Yeah, okay. Hare Krishna. Yeah, so.
No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex.
All right. Nageshwari Devi Dasi. Nageshwari means Nagapatni, the wives of the Kaliya Naga, who are all great devotees of Krishna. So you'll find in Brahma Vaivarta Purana the Nageshwari offering prayers to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, next will be Neelambal and then Kanan. Yeah. So. So the name is Neela Devi Dasi. Neela, of course, is one of the Shaktis of Vishnu. One of the three principal Shaktis. Shri, Bhu and Neela are the three principal Shaktis. That means they're devotees. And there are others also. Ila, Pushti, Tushti, there are so many. But these are the three. Shri, Bhu and Neela. Yeah, please come. And only one more left. now that 12:30 they close, so we have plenty of time. Yeah, okay. Someone should show him how to put on tilak nicely also. It's a bit of... You want to do that? Show them how to put tilak. There should be a space in the middle, right? It's a bit rough. So, you told everything all right? Okay. So, Kala Krishna Das. Krishna is time. Kala Krishna is also a name of one of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Looks like you lost your tilak. I think you better go and put tilak on. You probably wiped it off from the heat. Just chant Hare Krishna for 5 minutes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, please sit. All right. Please tell me the 4 regulated principles. All right. And how many rounds a day you have to chant? Okay. So your name is Prema Vidhata Das. Prema Vidhata. This is a name that Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives to the name of Krishna. To Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidhata. Means who gives prema. He doesn't understand. You understand Tamil? Yeah, Tamil. Oh. Is it? Yeah, you're Tamil. No, you're Telugu. No, you understand Telugu? People can understand Tamil?
Oh, but he knows Tamil.
You know Tamil. Anyway, whatever it is, chant Hare Krishna. Guru Das is also accepting Brahminical initiation today. After period of traveling with me and being my assistant, he's now doing book distribution in Bangalore, and he's accepting Brahminical initiation. So start with Brahma Samhita and you can go on with everything else. So all the devotees, please give their blessings to the new disciples. Special thanks to those devotees who are helping all the devotees to come up. Yeah, you ready? We have to distribute this.